So how was your first stop day?
We lost to the in our third game in competition for softball at Tuxedo Park. But the first two games were quite good, and I had a good hit between second and third that ran a run, I think, to second or third, and then I was thrown out, but it was a good hit. I enjoyed it. You know, what I could participate in. The following morning, I was made aware of the tragic death of Cody Fanning in the accident with the truck, and that overshadowed everything for me after that. So I didn't participate in the canoe race, which I hoped to have done. I believe the biology department did well in that. I'm not sure. And Doane Idol, I was ready to engage in all of that, but I have to admit that the accident made that impossible for me to do. I think for students it was the same mixed feelings. You know, on one hand they're trying to you're trying to enjoy the day. That you're not in class, and that has been a tradition here, and at the same time, this terrible accident had occurred. What I've tried to communicate throughout this time, this sad time, is that what Doane tries to do in terms of college and educating students is to help you learn how to live a productive and meaningful life, as well as gaining the skills that you need in your professions. And life brings with you curves as well as slow pitches, and bad things come with good things. And so, as terrible as this moment is, and it is, there's something after the grieving and the time that passes that can be learned from this, and that is that you celebrate everyone's life, which is finite. Everyone has an end point, and that you can get through these moments. And so Stop Day is bittersweet for me on this particular one because of what has happened, but I can see how it has been of value to students, over the years, and it is a lot of fun in many respects.
What are your future plans for Stop Day?
Well, people ask me that question now, and I know why they ask me that question, because they're tying Stop Day to the tragedy, and what I'm saying is that we should not do that at this moment in time. That what we should focus on is making sure that we support each other in the community of students and faculty and staff at this time, and Cody's family, and all those who were affected by that, and have set time aside downstream for any conversations that people may want to have. I think a broader conversation always about what do we do as a community here at Doane to make sure we have a strong academic presence and a strong opportunity for students to be engaged in their life here. And Stop Day is just another activity among a whole line of them that happen for Doane students that make Doane what it is for you. And sure, we can talk about it. We could have talked about it just as easily before the tragedy as after the tragedy. And I just think it's a mistake in a moment of great sadness and emotion to try to tease apart, what Stop Day is from that particular event. That was an accident and a tragedy and a horrible moment in time. And it's not an environment that is conducive to thinking clearly about any day, Stop Day or otherwise. And so this is what I've encouraged everybody to do, and not to leap into a big discussion right now about Stop Day. I have no personal thoughts about doing anything about it right now, about Stop Day. I think it'd be fine. I'm open to talking about that and anything else at Doane, but at the right time, you know. There are times in history and in the moments of our lives where you have to think taking actions immediately in an event. When Pearl Harbor was bombed, that was not a time for the president to come out and say, let's wait until, you know, things settle down and then we'll protect the West Coast from an invasion by Japan. You know, that would have been a mistake. But you also have to be able to separate when there is a crisis that is in front of you that is threatening your ability to exist, you know, to survive as a society or as a human. If a tiger's in front of you and ready to leap on you, it is not a time to think about it. You just take an action and get out of the way. This is not one of those times. You know, this is a time for grieving, and there will be another time for people to present their views and opinions of what's connected and what isn't. And I believe there is a wide range of views on this subject. It's not, there's not a consensus anywhere. I don't think there was before the accident.
Stop Day being an event on campus, what has been your favorite to attend so far throughout this year?
You mean just, not during Stop Day?
No, events in general,
Oh, you know, I enjoyed a lot of the athletic events. I did enjoy I think it was a new employee event early in the year where I had an opportunity to sing Oklahoma, sing Oh What a Beautiful Morning from the play musical Oklahoma, much to the surprise of the faculty and staff of Doane College, who see me as a scientist, or pretty much thought that's what I was coming in, and I am. I'm a biologist. But I think when they had a chance to give me the mic and introduce myself to the group, and I started out with, oh, what a beautiful morning. I think they were surprised that I would have done that, you know. And so those kinds of surprise moments have been good. The community came in and sang as part of they call themselves the Millers from the Crete Mill. When a new person comes into town that oversees a business, or like I'm at the president here, they came and sang welcome to me. That was a nice touch. The homecoming parade was fun when I found myself passing candy out to the little kids on the street, and then tried to use my Spanish by asking after the little girl I gave her the candy, and I wanted to, she said thank you, and I wanted to say you're welcome, and instead of saying it correctly, I said please give me your money. And so, you know, funny things like that had happened. Or when I went to Walmart and I was wearing my Kenny Bunkport uniform, which is khaki pants and a blue polo shirt, which is what you wear at Walmart. And if you work there, and I didn't recognize how similar we were, so people kept asking me in the aisles where the light bulbs were and the pipe wrenches and things like that. And I said, I really can't help you. I don't work here. And then I went up to the cashier, and the cashier says, you're new, huh? You must work in receiving. And I said, I don't work in receiving, and I don't know why people keep asking me these questions. And then he looked at me, and I looked at him, and I looked at the other associates around the cash register, and we all had the same uniform. So things like that have been enjoyable. I've gone to the theater productions, the classroom presentations I've been able to attend. It's just, I have the best job in the world because I don't have to actually do anything in particular, but I have to be everywhere all the time. So,
what are your thoughts about on students being involved in multiple groups on campus?
You mean underlying that question or beneath it is, are we overly subscribed?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right?
Yeah.
We talked about that in the strategic plan, and we have Laura's on the committee and others, and I think there's an acknowledgement by all the students that they are really busy, but they didn't want the solution to be to cut out the things they like to do. So one of the approaches going forward is to work with students in terms of advising to help with managing their time more carefully, and to choose more judiciously the clubs and organizations they want to be on, because Right now, you probably don't get enough advice and counseling from the seniors and such as you're coming in, as well as from the faculty and staff, about how to think about which three things you want to be on, and maybe that fourth and fifth club or fraternity or a leadership experience that you're thinking of doing might not be a great idea if you want to keep your sanity. So rather than eliminate them, we would rather and make them fewer and solve it that way. We would like to leave the diversity of opportunity there for you, but give you some better skills in terms of feeling more comfortable and not so pressured to have to do everything in order to feel that you're doing well as a student here. And with more students as we grow, you won't need to feel as pressured, because there will be more kids that will be on the different clubs and such. There'll be more kids that will be able to be on in a fraternity or sorority, and it won't be so you won't be so pressured to try to find enough to make it happen. Right now, with 1,000 students, you're smaller than many high schools, and so when you have as many organizations that you have, the math isn't there. There's not enough of you to fill out a Monday evening film series. But if we add another few hundred students here and there, all of a sudden, yeah, you can have a club for rock climbing, because there's more than 3 people that will show up. But right now, that's your challenge. Same with courses. Rather than eliminate your majors and your programs and shrink it down, let's bring in some more faculty and some more students and build them up. And then you might not be in them all, but at least you're surrounded by the diversity of them, and you can go to a play without being in the play.
So are you thinking about expanding majors here on campus?
Yeah, and it's not me. It's I always like to say that that's what we would do, because it's really up to the faculty to determine the character of the curriculum and the offerings that we take, that we offer our students. But clearly there is some programs here that I think students have been asking for, and that faculty have as well, that are you'll see them coming out of the strategic plan. So there will be some new programs, I think, coming forward as part of the recommendations.
Are there any certain ones that you guys have in mind?
Yeah, well, this is kind of like the sports question, and I did give you some. So these are my reflections, and not the approved and vetted programs that will come out eventually. These are just my observations that graphic design and graphic arts and that sort of bridge between our art department and media seems to me a logical place for something to happen. So many people, students come out of college and are working in that industry, whether they're doing marketing for a major company or they're in the communications area. It seems like there's a place between the art and the media area to come together. So graphic design would be one. I think you're going to see more interdisciplinary majors, more studies that draw psychology and biology together as opposed to being separate. So you're going to see what you have minors. Some of your minors will probably grow up into be majors because they're minors because they're more interdisciplinary. Things like that would be logical programs. And then some can grow stronger, like business and accounting and some of those fields. I see in the health professions and the health sciences opportunity for what I would call off-ramps. As you major in biology or chemistry, you may not want to be a chemist or a biologist, but you may want to be a physical therapist or an occupational therapist or someone who's going to be employed in the expanding healthcare industry. And those aren't necessarily undergraduate degrees. They may be graduate degrees, but we'll have these tracks that will be well identified that would prepare you to get into a doctoral program in physical therapy or some other program. So there's a lot of that kind of opportunity here. We're not going to do everything. We're probably not going to have architecture and other areas of study, but we'll probably have more partnerships with colleges that we have articulating agreements. So if you want to be an engineer, you could get the basic foundation here and then go on to an engineering school to complete your advanced work. And that would be the same in architecture. That's the beauty of a liberal arts college, is that we can prepare you with the the basic coursework that you need to go into professional programs without being a university and having everything right here.
After the president's first year in office, President Carter is ready to grow Doane's diversity, student enrollment, and take Doane to the next level to academically compete with the leading liberal arts colleges. Thank you, President Carter, for joining us. I'm your host, Richard Creeger. Good night.